Welcome everyone to yet another video which is on the theatre of the absurd. The term theatre of the absurd was coined by Martin Esslin, a theatre critic, to describe a number of works being produced in the late 1950s and early 1960s that defied any traditional genres. The term absurd was originally used by Albert Camus in his essay titled The Myth of Sisyphus, which was published in the year 1942, wherein he described the human condition as meaningless and absurd. So, Albert Camus, in the work The Myth of Sisyphus, he used this term absurd for the first time in this work, wherein he described the human condition as meaningless and absurd. Martin Esslin, in his 1961 text Theatre of the Absurd, used the term to categorize the group of playwrights in the 1950s, like Samuel Beckett, Eugene Ionesco, Jean Genet, Harold Pinter, and so on. All these playwrights attempted to show the absurdity of human life. For these writers, the question of existence was a major theme. In their plays, they presented post-war experiences and its trauma, and they followed a highly unusual, innovative form. The plays are surreal, illogical, conflictless, and plotless without a proper characterization and story development. The characters of absurd theatre are portrayed as lost and floating in an incomprehensible universe. They abandon rational devices and discursive thought because these approaches are inadequate. They always have ambiguous identities, and their effort is to define their role in the world. The characters often appears in pairs, either males or females. The dialogues are often nonsensical but naturalistic. The absurd plays attempt to prove in the inadequacy of language to communicate human thoughts. Ample pauses, breaks, and silence become part of absurd plays. The plots consist of the absurd repetition of cliché and routine. This absence, emptiness, nothingness, and unresolved mysteries are central features in many absurdist plays. And the setting too is without any large structures, and often the stage is left empty. Now let's discuss some examples. The classic example for the theatre of the absurd is Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot, which was published in 1954. It was originally written in French and later translated into English. The play has two major characters, Vladimir and Estrigan, who wait for the arrival of someone named Godot, who never appears. And they are later joined by a pair, Pozzo and Lucky. And while waiting, they engage in a variety of discussions. Finally, a boy comes announcing that Godot's arrival is postponed, and thus the waiting continues. So the play is repetitive in nature and is subtitled as a tragi-comedy in 2 acts. The question of existence, the absurdity of human life, all these themes were discussed in this play. Then other popular theatre of absurd plays are Samuel Beckett's Endgame. Endgame is a good example for the theatre of the absurd. Then Jean Genet's The Balcony, then Ionesco's Rhinoceros and The Bald Soprano, then Harold Pinter's The Homecoming, The Dumb Waiter, etc. And these are the major examples of the theatre of the absurd plays. So majority of such plays focus largely on the ideas of existentialism and express what happens when human existence lacks meaning or purpose and communication breaks down. Other than Samuel Beckett, Eugene Ionesco, Jean Genet, and Harold Pinter, there are many other writers who are associated with the theatre of the absurd. Arthur Adamov, then Tom Stoppard, then Fernando Arrabal, Jean Tardieu, Edward Albee, etc. So this is all about the theatre of the absurd.